Hi YouTube, I know I'm a little bit late with this one, and that's just life kicks you in the shin sometimes, and I'm trying to recover from some things. But anyways, that aside, let's talk about why Genji is in 225. And it's not just him, there's a bunch of other characters that rightfully should be in 225. I'm gonna list the characters that I believe should be in 225 and then kind of go from there. First of all, I think it's absolutely absurd that Venture didn't get dropped to 225. I'm fairly certain they are above that HP bar. I'm fairly certain on that. Yeah, certain, yeah, exactly. And then on the support side of things, I find it absurd that Baptiste, the guy with no cooldown, no cooldown on his movement, somehow has managed yet again to dodge. Baptiste has to be like that guy from the Matrix that dodges all those bullets. Bro doesn't even need an immortality field in real life. He's just that damn good at dodging nerf after nerf after nerf after nerf. He's so good at it that like every character in this game will experience a nerf except Baptiste. Baptiste will find a way to survive, okay? That immortality field is on him permanently in real life, and he will never, ever face the effects of a nerf. I sincerely hope he does, because I personally think he's a little bit too strong. Anyway, so I definitely believe those are the characters that, at the moment, need to be brought down to 225. Let's talk about the main focus in the DPS role. It is Genji that I want to start with, and at the same time, we'll talk about Venture a little bit here and there. Now, the real reason, I think we've all discussed it in the comments, and you know, anybody that's been keeping up with this channel, in the comments, in another video, in my Twitter, you know, we've been talking about it a lot lately. Why isn't Genji 225, despite also arguably being considered a mobile DPS flanker character, and he's been left in 250 HP? Well, the answer is actually rather simple, that all of you know, and we're here to sit and talk about the obvious. It is just because they don't want to buff him. Now, let's talk about why that is the case. Obviously, as you guys know, I did a video a while back called the problem with Genji, or the Genji problem, or something like that. And I discussed that the problem with this character is always this excuse that gets brought up, that he rolls low elo lobbies. But again, in my argument that I argue against that idea is that this is a stupid way to keep a high-skilled character somewhat toned down, because I could argue that Pharah rolls low elo lobbies. Why isn't her damage like 80 damage per direct? You know, like Sombra can roll low elo lobbies. Why isn't her damage something absurd? Venture can roll. Venture has been destroying low elo lobbies. I don't know if you guys have been seeing the forums, but they're going crazy because Venture is apparently very strong on the new Clash game, but the maps are all tight and clumped up. It is Venture heaven. Seriously, if you've not tried playing Venture, play Venture in Clash. The Temple of Anubis and Hanamura, I mean Hanaoka and Throne of Anubis. Play Venture over there. They are pretty damn good. So, like, Venture's pretty damn good over there, and it made me realize something. Like, Venture, with all the shields coming online constantly, they can feel immortal. Now, you know, like, look guys, whenever I talk about the game, I try to be fair and objective. Like, if they're introducing a philosophy like this one, the 225 HP pool, which is like, we're gonna bring down certain squishy characters to 225 because they're mobile. It was mostly focused on DPS, but then there was a character that kind of got put into 225 for no reason. That character is none other than Hanzo, because this is where the philosophy does not make sense. Why is Hanzo, a character who is so pathetic, who is so easy to dive, who is an old man crippled with arthritis, falling over repeatedly on his head because he doesn't know where to go, what to do? Even with the sonar arrow, he has no clue what to do in the game because he's just that garbage now. They brought him down to 225, and it is so easy to delete Hanzo. Guys, please, to those of you that are in that little circle that believes Hanzo is a very strong character and he's like one, like, and even Genji, like Hanzo and Genji are like this end-all be-all, respectfully, skill issue. There's more than enough things in this game that deal with them easily, and if you are refusing to counter pick even as a soft or hard counter, that is legitimately on you. Like, if those guys playing Genji Hanzo are gonna swap and then dominate on another character, what are you gonna do then? Just cry about those characters too and get them? Like, come on now, it's like, it's a PvP shooter game. Get better at the shooting part, because that's what they're doing. Okay, my mini rant aside, my mini rant and my mini jokes aside, my little pokes here and there aside, the people that complain, Hanzo is a character that in my hottest take ever did not deserve to be in the 225 HP pool. I understand why they did it though. The reason why they did it is because they wanted to increase the amount of characters you could hit with, you know, like the headshot and confirm a kill. And this is like, they said, you know, that they wanted that Hanzo 1v1 to kind of be like a sniper 1v1, similar to Widow, that if you land a headshot, it is a confirmed kill. So from that perspective, I'm like, okay, but like maybe you could have reduced his cooldown on his jump, maybe allow his jump to go even further back or something, because this character, like once you jump on him, it's over. Like right now, if you're playing D.Va or Winston, Hanzo, and especially Soldier 76, these are the freest skills in the lobby if you have a basic understanding of how to engage these targets. It's honestly just so easy to delete Hanzo from the game right now, because he's just so pathetic and poor. Regardless, I will say that the 225 HP pools has helped Hanzo feel a little bit better. Not to the degree that he's actually a good, generally good pick like he used to be, but you can certainly play him. I've been playing him a lot on Clash. I've been playing a lot of characters on Clash. You know, all of these like tight maps make it really fun to play these characters. And also another hot take before I come back to Venture and especially Genji is, again, this is a blistering hot take, right? I think Junkrat's actually pretty damn good right now, and arguably he's one of the characters that is also pretty damn mobile if you're using concussion mines to move around. I'm not saying that Junkrat needs to be brought down to 225, but I'm saying I wouldn't be mad if they did do that, with that being their argument, because again, the logic that they are using, not me, you know, newsflash, not me, I'm not the one saying this. The logic that Blizzard is using is that it's the really mobile characters. But potentially, Sojourn and even Soldier 76 arguably could be brought down to 225, and Reaper can possibly drop back down to 250. Because, bro, I'm not gonna lie, like, Reaper is S tier right now, and I'm not mad about that. I think Reaper deserves to be where he is right now, but I ain't gonna lie. The only thing that I would nerf on Reaper is maybe his HP bar, because, bro, like, 300 HP. 300 HP! Nerf it! It is a bit too much with the way breakpoints have been getting nerfed and changed up here and there. It's a little bit too much, not gonna lie. And I love Reaper. I've been playing him a lot this season. So, coming back over to Genji and Venture and why they're not 225, you know, all the talking points that I've been talking about, the reason Genji and Venture are not there is because arguably Blizzard would need to buff them. I don't think Venture would need a buff. I think maybe you can increase the skill. What is it? Skill. You can increase Venture's shield generation, like the shield HP bar they get. And that could possibly be more than enough to keep them strong and relevant in the maps where they are strong, especially in Clash as a game mode. Venture's pretty damn good. And then in Genji's case, like, okay, Blizzard, I get it. I know why you want to keep him weak, but he has one of the lowest ban rates in EWC and OWCS. This basically means that he's not being banned a lot because the hero is utter garbage. Like, he's actual garbage. Do not be scared to buff this character and just double down on it. Like, seriously, go through with it. Reduce Genji's HP bar to 225 and ignore the complaints of other people. What I don't understand is how is Sombra getting reduced to 225 and gets an insane buff to her damage uptime, but we can't do that for Genji, or we cannot do that for Sojourn. Sojourn also needs to be brought down to 225. So, like I said, the reason why they haven't brought down, especially, you know, specifically Genji, because that's what this video is about, to 225 is actually, you know, simple and straightforward, is because of the low elo complaints that they are worried about, that all these support players will feel like, oh my god, Genji's oppressing my lobby again, even though there's like 19 characters we can pick to counter him with. This character is so crazy. Oh my god, I'm having a skill issue. That guy's being rewarded for his skill. Imagine having a skill diff in a PvP game. That's crazy. It's almost like we can all improve to get better and then use it as a basis to go from there and improve. Like, that's why we're playing ranked, right? To improve as players. But then we want to complain about high skill characters and nerf them. Jesus, like, what are we doing with this game? Anyways, that aside, again, I know I'm ranting a little bit, but you guys love my rants and you watch a lot of my rant videos, so I'm sure none of you are complaining with the rants, the funny little rants I do. So, again, similarly, Moira got brought down to 225 and then she got a damage buff. I don't think it will ruin the game if we nerf Genji to 225 in terms of HP and then buff his damage to 28 or arguably 29, because, you know, he'll be a lot more squishier, and he's not like other flankers that have like an instant escape route or something like that. He is a little bit interesting in the way he approaches the game, but because of that, Genji is one of the most inconsistent flankers, and that's one of the reasons why he's in a really bad spot right now. He's also really poor against the armor currently, and unless they nerf armor, like, Genji's just bad when it comes to trying to chunk down the tank, and it really hurts that they're not doing anything to help him out. Again, like I said, 28 damage shuriken will be more than enough, or tighten the spread on the shuriken, or increase the projectile size of the shuriken so that he's actually more often than not hitting all three shurikens, because like I said, at least from the study that I did, he'll only ever hit 2 shurikens at a time, and that's why his damage can feel so pathetic, because again, the character is just inconsistent. So I would say, Blizzard, don't be scared. Go for that buff. Tone down Venture as well. adjust Reaper just a little bit and see how it feels. I don't think it would be unreasonable to bring Reaper down just a little bit, not too much, maybe to 275, not 250, 275. I think Reaper at 275 would be pretty reasonable. Otherwise, like, I think in terms of squishies, damage heroes and support heroes, they're actually beginning to get leveled out really well. They're pretty damn balanced, I would argue, outside of a few outliers. Again, few outliers are there. I'm not saying it's completely balanced just yet, at least the way that I see it. And then in tank, I started to ask myself, you know, I started to ask, like, what is it about Overwatch right now, the frustration? Because like I enjoy the game from a squishy to squishy interaction, but when it comes to like certain characters, I've realized what my pain point of the game is right now and what makes me really upset, and it's armor. I'm going to talk about armor a lot more in tomorrow's video and a bunch of other things, unless I change the schedule of my videos and talk about something else, because I do want to give my honest thoughts on the season, and I also want to talk about Deadlock a little bit, and the future of this channel in the near future. So, you know, we'll get to that. But I do believe that my major cause of frustration in the game right now is not dealing with the kaiju tanks necessarily. Like when I play against Doom, Queen, or Roadhog, these characters that don't have this plethora of armor on them, or even Sigma, it doesn't feel that bad to fight them. Like, they're definitely tankier, but like you feel like, yeah, you know what, like I can maybe 1v1 this guy. Like in certain scenarios, like if I am smart with my positioning, cooldown usage, I can 1v1 them. But when it comes to characters like Orisa, who I personally think is back, D.Va, and Winston, these characters have an abundance of armor on them where it can feel, and even Reinhardt in some cases, the armor, the way it's functioning on them, especially D.Va, can not only make it really unfun to shoot them, because you feel like you're doing nothing first and foremost, unless you're playing specific characters like Sim and Zarya against D.Va, and number two, the armor just makes it feels like you have no agency over that matchup. Like, it's so much more one-sided and in favor of the other person than it is on you. And it like anytime you shoot these type of like high armor tanks, it's like if somebody else isn't joining you in shooting them, or at least 3 people, I would even argue, at least 3 people shooting at this one person, it just feels like that other tank will just win the exchange more often than not, or even confirm a kill. So that's just my take on the game right now and why certain characters are where they are. In my personal opinion, nerf Venture, nerf Genji's HP bars down, buff Genji's damage and buff Venture's you know, shield rate, so that they're being rewarded for their ability usage and everything. Not too much though, just a little bit to keep them like, because I think their damage and everything is fine. Then on Genji's case, buff his damage to 28 or 29. You know, we've discussed it many times before. And also reduce the Dragon Blade charge rate. It's so slow and pathetic, and with there being so many options to deal with in the game now, I think we could allow a little bit more strength indirectly in allowing Dragon Blade to charge faster. And then if you want to go with super blistering hot takes and just for the funsies, then in my opinion, Junkrat and Sojourn definitely can be brought down to 225 as well, because in my personal opinion, they are both extremely mobile characters. Okay, maybe not Junkrat, like maybe it's like a maybe thing, but Sojourn for sure can be brought down to 225 because she's very, very mobile, and I definitely think, you know, she needs to be brought down there. And then finally, you know, I am the resident Torbjorn hater. Like, reduces armor, give him more HP. Armor on Torbjorn is stupid, and I'm gonna talk about I am the resident Torbjorn hater, guys. Like, I hate Torbjorn. I play him because I abuse him and how strong he is, but I just feel like he's the most unfair character in the DPS. So I'm gonna talk about that in the near future. And in my personal opinion, nerf Baptiste down to 225 and leave him alone. Like, do not buff his kit, do not nerf his kit. I think bringing Bap down to 225 would be a pretty decent nerf to start with, to see if we can tone down his power level and his impact into the game. Because while I find some support abilities and you know, some support abilities annoying to deal with in the game, I think there is no support in the game that sucks the fun out of the game as fast as a Baptiste does, with the amount of power and impact that he can bring just by legitimately existing. Anyways, everybody, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoy this type of content, you want more Overwatch discussions, Overwatch guides, Overwatch rants, Overwatch everything, hit the subscribe button. It's a fun way to stay up to date with me, help support the channel for free. Liking is also a great way to do that, because you probably liked this video and that's probably why you're watching it up until this point. Usually people drop out by the 6-minute mark, but if you didn't drop out by the 6-minute mark, then big kisses, big love. Much appreciate the support. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video, where we'll probably talk about my honest thoughts on the current season.